I would like to call the November 9th, 2023 regular board meeting to order at 6:06 p.m. My apologies for the delay. First order of business, if you would be so kind, I would like to ask Mr. Wellington to give our invocation, and if you would please remain standing for the pledge, which will be given by Mrs. Pickens.
Hallelujah, Lord. God, as we bow before you, we come to give you honor and glory. Thank you so much. We still live in a nation that we can come before you publicly and pray. We ask you, Lord, that you'll continue to bless this nation, help us to continue to grow. I pray for this county, the schools, and the teachers and all that's involved in our system. Lord, that you'll continue to bless them and help us to continue to do what's right. Help us tonight in our meeting to give you honor as we go through the details that's laid out before us. We thank you again for your many blessings. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Might be TMI here, but it does my heart good to see Mrs. Family with two brand new knees finally able to rise and lead us in. I would like to thank our greeters tonight, Dr. Josh Heath from Pickens Junior High and Ann Long, Assistant Principal at Tate Elementary. Thank you very much. The next item is approval of the agenda. Dr. Thomas, do you have any amendments to this agenda?
Yes, sir, I have three. I'm requesting to add first an MOU between the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities and the Pickens County Board of Education regarding state opioid response. This is for Pickens High School, Pickens Junior High School, and JMS. And so I'm adding that as consent agenda item Roman numeral 8E. Also, I'm adding to the agenda an MOU for school-based mobile diagnostic unit services with Pickens Urgent Care as consent agenda item Roman numeral 8, letter F. And then a request to amend the 23-24 school system calendar, making March the 12th, 2024 a virtual learning day. We have been brought into conversations with the Board of Elections. There will be Tate Elementary, Hill City Elementary, and Pickens Junior High School will be presidential primary sites that day. And so I'm requesting to amend our calendar to making that day, March the 12th, a virtual learning day for our students.
All right, we'll make a note on the consent agenda that adding items E, F, and G. Board members, everybody clear? Do I have a motion to agenda the agenda to add the items Dr. Thomas has requested?
So,
Mr. Wellington. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Ms. Gibbs. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Vote. The agenda is amended. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Just a technicality there, folks, sorry. Do I hear a second? Mr. Pickens. Is there any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. All the amendments are amended. The agenda is approved. The first item is recognition. And it's from the Eubanks Educational Foundation, made a generous donation to Tate Elementary School. Dr. Thomas, will you tell us more about this?
Yes, sir, I'd be happy to. The Pickens County School District and Tate Elementary School would like to thank Tom and Barbara Jean Floyd Eubanks Educational Foundation for their generous financial donation to Tate Elementary. The purpose of this donation is to help the Tate Elementary teachers enhance their respective classrooms and supplement the school's academic focus. The Eubanks family has members which have both taught at and attended Tate Elementary School, and this is an effort on behalf of the family to give back to those educators at the school which has meant so much to them. With us tonight representing Tate Elementary is Assistant Principal Ann Long. With us tonight representing the Eubanks family is Attorney David App. If both will please come forward at this time, we will make our presentation and you'll shake the board members' hands down front. Thank you. Stay here.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That's right.
Absolutely, yes, please.
I appreciate this. This is a result of a lifetime of commitment to these schools. The history which Superintendent Thomas spoke of is one that's deep and rich with this family. I work for the Community Foundation of Northwest Georgia, and our job is to make sure when folks want to leave a legacy that they have a financial and an administrative framework to do that. There are never more happier days in my life than to be able to recognize the work of those philanthropists. The family member that I've dealt with is in her late 80s, but she will be here one day. She would love to come out to Tate and see the impact of this. But this represents the tip of an iceberg. It's a $300,000 plus donation to establish this foundation, and it will distribute an amount between $25,000 and $30,000 a year for the next 10 years. So to make good on the first part of that, I'm going to hand you a $28,000 check.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, sure. But this is great. It will touch each and every classroom, $500 per classroom, and then what's left can be distributed, used in any way that furthers the work of the school. So, as the husband, proud husband of a Tate Elementary School graduate from more years ago than she would ever want me to admit, I can tell you that her time as a second grader at Tate Elementary changed the trajectory of her lives. A teacher bent down one day to this very small child and said, "Honey, it seems like you love to read." And that began a lifetime love affair with books that changed the trajectory of her life. So Tate Elementary, this is a deep honor for me to be a part of it and celebrate the work that you guys do. So thank you so much.
Ms. Long, Mr. Stevens, I know how your students love to do cards and send us nice things. You might get some of those young people to put some cards and things together for this family to thank them. A very generous donation. Thank you again. Next item, Superintendent reports. Dr. Thomas, I will turn the meeting over to you for your reports.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. At this time, I'll turn it over to our CFO, Amy Smith, to give us a financial update.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Now, that's the kind of thing I like to follow. I'm excited. I've known about this for a little while, and so I'm really pleased that the presentation could be done tonight. Been kind of helping some of the folks at Tate do the background work to prepare for this, so we're ready. So I'll be talking to Wendy in the morning. All right, Miss Martha's ahead of me now. She has our general fund pulled up. Our revenue collected through the end of October 2023 is 17.37% of our budgeted revenue. We've expended 27.16% of the approved expenditures. Our consolidation of funds, Fund 150, reflects expenditures through the end of October, and transfers have been made through the end of September. To remind you what this fund is, it is a mixture of federal funds and state and local funds to alleviate some of the red tape and create some flexibility at the school level, and I do think our principals love that. They don't have to do all that paperwork for some of the entitlements anymore. As I love to say, we have no debt. Our capital, our capital outlay, SPOS revenue for October was $731,305.77. We've had some conversation about SPOS lately. I think y'all got to see the cash flow and some plans that we have. Just wanted to point out, I think y'all did get to see this, but our 21-month average is just over $711,000. So that has more than doubled since the 17-18 school year. Just a little information to kind of chew on there. Interest earned for the month of October is $1,102.37. Expenditures total $247,428.50 for the month, and that ended the month with a SPOS balance of $13,569,030.91. Special revenue, I can't see here and there. I have to do one or the other apparently with these glasses. We've collected 3.94% of our budgeted revenue in those special revenue funds, and that includes federal grants and our school nutrition program, and we've expended 34.03% of our budgeted expenditures. I always remind you that those are full grants. We spend the money first, and then we get to ask for a reimbursement. So don't be worried that we haven't collected a high percentage there. Do y'all have any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. This time, we'll call up Mr. Wallace, our Chief Operations Officer, for a brief operations and construction update.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Board members, thanks for the opportunity to be here this evening. Before I begin my report, I would like to just pause and extend my appreciation to all the veterans who serve and protect the freedoms we hold so dear in this district, this state, this country. And we got several that are on our staff in transportation and maintenance. So I know we got that coming up tomorrow, and just want to say thank you to all the veterans out there. We really value and appreciate you. For our construction update, I want to talk about the field house GMP, gross maximum price. That will be coming up in a later item on the agenda for you guys to consider voting to approve. And I just want to remind you guys and also tell the public, this field house project includes several different items. In addition to the construction project itself, they'll have 3 total locker rooms for extra sports, male and female locker rooms in that building, training room, meeting room. There's a lot of nice things in that drawing. And then in addition to the facility, full grass practice field, we're going to be adding a pump station there that will eliminate the current septic system that serves the guest bathrooms and the guest locker rooms right now down there. And then also in this is allowance to completely mill and pave Dragon Drive that's 25 years old and is certainly needing some additional work to it. But we're going to have a lot of construction traffic there, so we'll put that off until we get that construction project near completion or at completion before we look at doing that. So included that as an alternate or an additional item on that project that is shown and reflected in the GMP that will be before you tonight. The high school renovation, obviously the phase 1 is what we're highly focused on, which I remind you includes the kitchen remodel, heat and air replacements in the chiller, and then the backup generator for the kitchen coolers, freezers there, and then re-roofing those parts of the building that are the oldest. Legal has to review this by state law, so the RFP is going through that process before we release it out. And then lastly, for construction, Dragon Drive, we also, we're dealing with a striping issue down there and a visibility issue. So we will not stripe that to DOT specs because of the cost, but that'll be done when it's repaid. But we are looking to stripe that over Thanksgiving break with just regular parking lot paint to make sure it's visible, because it is very dark through there, especially this time of year when it gets darker earlier. So we are taking care of that over Thanksgiving break. It should be ready to go when everybody returns. It'll be less traffic control during the break. A couple items to point out on the nutrition update from Ms. Thompson. Our free and reduced rate, just wanted to bring that up to you, is at 61.97% now, and that's where we stand as a district. And on the school health update, there were a few things that Ms. Smith shared with me, and I'll just point out one thing. There was 100 students and staff certified in Red Cross, CPR, and AED first aid, or in first aid last month through a project they're working on, so I thought that was pretty cool to share. And then the buses from transportation, Mr. Harris reported that they are slated to be here, that we ordered and approved just a couple months ago, slated to be here the first week of December. So looking forward to having those and getting those back in service, or into service, and cycling through 6 buses out. So yeah, we got a lot going on. And I also just point out there's a few MOUs in the consent agenda that are coming up later on for you guys to consider too. If we have any questions about the construction update or anything else, or any of the MOUs, be glad to answer those at this time or later. Any questions I can answer for you guys? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. At this time, we'll call up our principal at Pickens Junior High School, Dr. Josh Heath. If you remember, the last couple of months, we've had one of our principals come up and share information about their school. We heard from Jasper Middle School 2 months ago, and then Harmony Elementary last month, and then this month we have Dr. Heath talking to us about Pickens Junior High School. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Heath.
All right, Mr. Chair, members of the board, Dr. Thomas, I appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about Pickens Junior High School. This 8 or 10 minutes is definitely a short burst of information. I think I could talk about some of the great things that are going on and some of our great staff members who are much longer than that. So if you have any questions, I can definitely follow up with you later on those things. What I'm going to try to walk through is a little bit of data from the 22-23 school year, and then really focus in on talking about our school improvement goals for this year. With each of those goals, I'm going to talk about what our key actions are that we're focusing in on for the ways that we're trying to gather data, the way that we're trying to monitor and see the impact of the actions that we're choosing, and then just talk some about a little bit of data from this school year as well. So I'll walk through some CCRPI data, talk about the school improvement plan, and then I'll talk about my vision for junior high school moving forward. Okay, so just by the numbers, on any given day you walk into Pickens Junior High School, we've got about 615 students. They cross 2 different grade levels, 7th and 8th grade. We've got 73 phenomenal staff members. I give a ton of kudos to the previous administration, Dr. Flatt, Ms. Petty, Dr. Nelson, for really bringing together a group of people that not only really love their content and love the subject that they teach, but they also really love kids. And sometimes people do one or the other, and we have a ton of people that really love both. We offer 4 high school credit-bearing courses. Those are courses that our 8th graders can take that they get a high school credit for. And that's physical science, 9th grade literature, algebra 1, and then our basic ag class that we offer as a connection. We offer 13 sports programs, that's male and female, and then we have 9 different connections courses. Those range from things like art and computer, all the way to music technology, chorus, band, things of that nature. So those opportunities look like, just to highlight a couple really cool things that exist at the junior high school. One is we have a ropes course that has, I know, the only in the state full upper and lower ropes course. I believe it's probably the only one in the Southeast, just because it's an amazing experience that we've created in Pickens for our students. Ms. Claire Eubanks runs that course. Our students learn a lot about trust and collaboration and working together. The students lead a ton of that. She gets students certified each year in belaying, which I had never heard of until I started in this role. But they run everything that's out there. They all have a job. They know what their role is. They communicate at high levels with each other. It's a really impressive thing if you haven't seen that in action. We have a ton of different clubs and activities. One of our newest ones is a student-led news team that they call the Daily Dragon. This is a morning announcements that they run as student-led. I have no clue what half the technology does that's in the room with them. There's a switcher, and they got a green screen, and they're doing some really cool stuff that really looks like a very professionally done news program. And they're really just in a couple of weeks into that program is in infancy, but we've got some big plans for branching that out. We offer band and chorus and drama as fine arts. And then again, we offer a full spectrum of athletics, which the junior high school is really the first level where they get that opportunity as well. So a little bit of data in review. I take no credit or blame for any of this because this is data before I stepped into this role. But a lot of the data and the trend is very positive at the junior high school. So what you're seeing here is a comparison of the percentage of students that scored in Proficient and Distinguished, which is level 3 and 4, on each of the different milestones assessments that we take at the junior high school. The first number that you see next to each grade level is the 21-22 percentage, and then the second number is the 22-23. You can see that we increased across the 7 different places where we test. 5 of the 7 had an increase. The only 2 places where we saw a slight decrease was in 7th grade math and then in physical science. And physical science is kind of an outlier. That's one of our honors courses in 8th grade that only has about 50 kids that take advantage of that opportunity. So a couple of kids moving can make an 8 or 10 points, percentage point swing. But overall, a very positive trajectory within the building. So we've got 3 different goals in our school improvement plan. I'm just going to walk you through each of those goals and just talk about some of the actions that we're doing that I think are going to lead us to some positive success and some movement on those goals. The first is focused on academics. The second is focused on student engagement and opportunities. And the third is focused on parent and community engagement and communication. Our first goal is across those same content areas that we just discussed on the previous slide, that will increase the percentage of students scoring in level 3 and 4 by 3% in each one. This goal is really just kind of a stock goal that we use to be sure we're pushing for improvement across the board in every content area. And it's one that we use with our teachers that we kind of break down to figure out how many kids is that, how many students am I focused on moving. Just it kind of makes the academic year a little more granular and helps them to see what we're working on. Some of our key actions for goal number 1 are collaborative planning. We have a phenomenal pair of academic coaches at the junior high school, Ms. Kim Caron and Ms. Angie Allen. They had already built, there was an existing phenomenal structure for PLCs and collaborative planning in our building, and we've tried to grow that this year. Our teachers are phenomenal in collaboration. They really work together really well. In those meetings, they focus on instructional strategies, they look at data, and they figure out what's working, what's not working, what adjustments can we make. And they really try to use the data from our students to make real-time pivots so that we're adjusting and doing what's best for our kids. And then we also do informal walkthroughs, so our academic coaches, assistant principals, and myself, we walk through and we're in classrooms just as often as we can be, providing just little short bursts of feedback so teachers know and are getting some feedback on what they're doing in the classroom. Our second goal is focused on students, and in this one, we're focused on students reporting that they have a voice or that they have some options in what they're doing in our building, and that then they also have an adult with whom they feel connected. And that one is super important to me. This age level, the 7th and 8th grade group, is I think when kids really find their way, they figure out what they like, figure out what they don't like, what they're good at, what they're not good at. And so I think that's a really big charge and something that's really valuable to the 7th and 8th grade level. So some of the actions that we have that are tied into that are student goal setting. So we work with our students on trying to set academic goals. They set goals for their data we take a benchmark 3 times during the year. And so we take that first score and we say, okay, here's where you scored. This is kind of where that falls within our building. Do you think that lines up with where you are? Okay, we're going to take it again in January. What should we shoot for? What are some actions we can do? Just helps kids to kind of see a short term, this is my focus, instead of just I want to do good this school year. But how can I focus in monthly, and how do I know if I'm moving toward progress on that? We've also got student surveys. The first of these we're going to send out next week, but our leadership team created a short 5 or 6 question survey to gather some information. Specifically, we're asking them questions like, is there an adult in the building with whom you feel you are connected? We can then take that percentage and figure out, do we need to adjust our plan? Do we need to change our actions? Our goal on that is going to be 100%. We want every kid in our building to have somebody that they feel connected to and they feel like they can talk to when they're having something that comes up in their life. And then lastly, we're trying to increase our connections, the number of opportunities for fine arts, for clubs and activities, for sports. When kids are plugged in at the junior high level, they thrive. When they're not, they struggle. When they don't have something that they're tied to that's a motivating factor, then when they don't feel like doing the work, they just don't do it. But when they have somebody that they know is counting on them, then we see a big difference in what they do. Our third goal is around parent and community engagement. And this one focuses on our parents feeling like they have, like they're a part of our decisions that we make. And this is a big place where we've got some initiatives that I think are going to move us in the right direction for this goal. We've got a new school newsletter, and in that newsletter, we're trying to focus in on academic information, and more importantly, what can parents do at home to help and be sure their kids are learning whatever content they're learning. So we're trying to be sure we're kind of peeling back the layers so that parents know in ELA, what is my kid reading? What are they learning? What are they working on? And then what questions can I ask them at home to be sure that they're learning that material? We're also using parent surveys. The first of those is going to come out. We sent out 2 weeks ago And so this is just a sample of one of our questions. We asked them what they feel about our environment and our atmosphere at PGHS. On the first round of surveys, we had 80% that said they agreed or strongly agreed that we had a positive environment. 13% were kind of neutral, and then 7% disagreed with that. So this gives us a starting place to figure out and to gather some more information, and really just lets us know how we're doing and if we need to make any adjustments to what our actions are. Okay, and then just briefly, we always like to talk about discipline data at the junior high level. So we know research says that our kids' brains are not fully developed. At 7th, 8th grade level, their prefrontal cortex is not done yet. And that's where, as adults, that's the part of our brain that we use to make decisions. You add puberty and hormones into that, and there is no place where there's 12, 13, and 14-year-olds where day in and day out, great decisions are made in pressure situations. But we use that as something that people that choose to work at the junior high level, we're excited about the growth that gives us for kids. They will make bad choices, we know that, and then we help them to figure out how do I make that right, and how the next time that I'm confronted with that situation, can I do a better job with that. We are tracking slightly below the number of referrals for last year, and discipline referrals in this nature can kind of sway up and down from month to month, as you can see. We call October the year of October at the junior high, middle school level, because it is a really long span of time, but we're tracking a little bit below the number of referrals that result in ISS or OSS compared to last year. And nearly 90% of our kids have 0 office referrals, which result in ISS or OSS. And that's pretty typical, but we try to draw attention to that in our leadership team meetings and in our admin meetings to be sure we're remembering 550, 560 of our kids have no referrals that result in ISS or OSS. And so we're trying to really push toward recognizing those kids at a higher rate. So how do we do that? This is something I'm really excited about that we're doing this year at the junior high school. Each week we have teachers submit positive office referrals. I'll give you a second to read those ones that are in the middle. These are just some examples. And I won't read those to you, but each week we have great things that get submitted where teachers point out kids that are doing great things academically, that are being kind to their peers, or that are making nice adjustments where they weren't doing a great job and then they make a nice turnaround on those. From those positive referrals, we call parents, we brag on them. I always start those conversations with, hi, this is Dr. Heath, and I'm calling for something good, because normally when the principal calls, it's not a good thing. We're working on kind of shifting that ideology around a little bit. From that list of positive referrals, we pick students of the week. We put them on our social media. We're trying to do a really good job of trying to blast out as much positivity as we can, because there's so many great things going on and so many kids that are making great choices day in and day out at the junior high school level. Each 9 weeks we have a celebration where kids that are doing a good job, we also celebrate them on a larger scale, and we have some blow-ups and Kona ice and fun stuff like that. So in review, these are our key actions. I talked about these through each of our goals, but these are just some of the big things that we're working on. I believe in trying to do the simple things really well. That's one of the big things that I focus on at our school. You can have really innovative, great ideas, and those can make a big impact, but sometimes just doing the stuff that we know we're supposed to be doing really well leads to really, really good outcomes. And that's part of what I've tried to focus on. So we're trying to do the basic parts of school really well, really efficiently, and for that to make a big impact on our kids and our community. So then my vision. So my vision, again, follows that kind of simplistic nature. I want every kid in our building to be connected. So my goal is that every student in our building has an adult and something, an activity, a fine arts, a sport, a club, that they like, that they feel passionate about, and that helps them come to school each day and be focused on their classes. We want every student to have opportunities for high school credit, in line with Dr. Thomas's vision that our students are enrolled, enlisted, or employed. We want our kids to have a leg up as they step into the high school, and we're really looking to deepen that partnership where our kids are more prepared when they step into 9th grade, because that 9th grade year is so pivotal to whether or not they will drop out or they'll finish high school on time. We want every teacher to feel valued and supported, and to keep our teacher retention rate high, and we want our parents to feel informed and supported of what's going on in our building. We're trying to listen really well. We're trying to adjust based on feedback that we gather, and we're just trying to do our best job to educate our kids, to make it a place where kids want to be, where they feel loved, and where teachers and parents feel comfortable that the kids are at. All right, so that's all I got. I didn't hit my quota. I missed my time by a couple minutes there, but any questions that you got, I would love to answer.
Thank you, Dr. That's
Yeah, that was
really
awesome.
good. I love what you're doing. Thank you.
I'm glad you're here.
And this is one of the examples of our fine administrators, and why when you meet me on the street and you ask how's our schools going, and I'm always smiling and I'm like, it's just getting better. There's a really good example right here, as well as people sitting in the back. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Heath, thank you very much. have a couple comments to make, Chairman, and just a couple things about this fall. We've had a busy fall here in Pickens County, and just a few highlights I want to share with you. Our net softball team made it to Columbus. That was the first time since 2005 that our girls softball team earned a trip to Columbus. That's where the top 8 teams go to compete for a state championship. Our girls officially finished 7th in AAA, and they were the last remaining North Georgia high school to play softball this fall. So congratulations to our coaches, Coach Benson, Coach Morrissey, Coach Mara, and our nets overall. So it's great. We've had some fine art success at Pickens High. Our Pickens High School one-act play recently finished 2nd in the Region 7A one-act performance with their play Ada and the Engine. As a result, they're headed to the state championship or state competition next Saturday in Beaufort. So congratulations to our actors and our actresses, as well as our sponsor, Sarah Harbin. And additionally, the Pride of Pickens has completed all their fall competition season. They did very well. Their first competition, our band scored all superiors, which is the highest score possible in those competitions. At their most recent competition, our band received the highest score in their class. So congratulations to Ms. Lawhorn, Ms. Curtis, and all our band members on that. Our cheerleaders are headed to state. Our Pickens High School competition cheerleaders, they recently finished 2nd in Region 7 AAA. They're headed to Macon to compete for a state championship this Saturday morning. This is the 3rd year in a row where our ladies are competing for a state championship. So congratulations to Coach Prather, Coach Schofer, Coach Callahan, and all of our girls, and hopefully we can bring home some hardware on Saturday morning down in Macon. Okay? And then 2 final announcements. We did have vertical planning day this past Tuesday. Our students were not in school due to election day in our schools that cover that are polling sites. And so we use that as an opportunity to have teachers collaborate with one another vertically. We haven't done that before. And so grade levels met together. For example, we had 7th grade, 8th grade, and high school science teachers together in one room to discuss course expectations and how to prepare students for the future courses and that content. And when we're able to have this type of collaboration, our kids and our teachers both benefit from that. And then lastly, I do want to just briefly mention 2 weeks ago we had a gas leak at Tate Elementary, which is never what you want to hear first thing in the morning. It was uncovered at Tate, and when it became evident that that was not going to be a quick resolution, we had Tate students already en route to campus by the buses. We had our early Tate students already on campus. We moved those kids from Tate to Harmony, and I just want to really commend the staff at Tate and at Harmony. That was not an easy day at all, but the staff at both of those schools were fantastic. Our district office staff was fantastic. We mobilized and went to Harmony and called parents to let them know they could check out their students at Harmony. I just want to commend our folks for the spirit of teamwork that really helped make that day, even though it was very difficult and unusual, it was manageable for all parties involved. So I want to thank Tate, thank Harmony, and thank our district office folks for that as well. And And just a few upcoming dates. We do have Thanksgiving break coming up a week from Monday. We still will set a date for our December work session, and then our regular board meeting will be on December 14th. So Chairman Carter, that's all I have. All right.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. The next part of the meeting is the action items. The first item is approval of personnel. Do I have a motion to approve the personnel action report as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Lau? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Ms. Gibson? Is there any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Personnel action report is approved. The next item is approval of the guaranteed maximum price for the improvements at Pickens High School, including the field house. And Martha, I don't know how easy it'd be for you to go back to that slide. Well, this gives us
You want Chris's,
more information than we need, but
you want Chris's slide?
that might be the easiest.
This one?
This includes new athletic field house, this grass area there on the, east side, visitor side, pump station for disposal of septic, milling and paving, Dragon Drive, and additional paving for the field house. This is the first phase, in moving around the renovation of several buildings. I believe the old field house will be used, we converted to use for livestock,
Yes, sir.
and then there'll be some other items. The old ag facility will be converted to use for some other things, and there's a number of steps. And Ms. Smith gave us cash flow for the next 4 years for our SPLOST monies. All of this project will be SPLOST dollars. Do I have a motion to approve the GMP for the Pickens High Field House as presented?
So moved.
Ms. Gibson. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Ms. Lee. Is there any discussion? All in favor? 5-0. The GMP for Pickens High School Field House is approved. The next item is the consent agenda. Before I get into that list, we have amendments, and I believe item F involves our mobile health care, and I see there's some representatives here from Pickens Urgent Care. Would y'all like to say a few words or be recognized before we get to it? They provide our mobile service. We're one of the few systems, I believe, in Georgia that has a mobile health care service come to us.
Yes, I'm Jamie King from Pickens Urgent Care, and we started mobile diagnostic units for the schools. We have Megan Ebbing is here with me. She's our coordinator for the schools. The school nurse called Megan. Megan goes to the school. She has readily available diagnostic testing services. She does virtual visits. We get mom or dad on the line and a physician or a nurse practitioner and provide services. Our goal is really to reduce the health barriers related to learning. We started this back in COVID and went live with it in January of 2021. I think we worked for probably a year and a half getting an MOU set up, adding it to malpractice insurance, getting approval from insurances to offer this service. Megan sees on average from about 10 to 16, 18 patients a day at a school. She sees staff. And I think we have definitely worked together to reduce those barriers with learning. A lot of kids go back to the classroom. They don't have to go home. And a lot of teachers go back to the classroom. So the students do, they have their regular teacher. It's been a great program and we are excited to hopefully continue this. Does anybody have any questions for me, for us?
Thank you, Jamie. We
Thank you.
appreciate what y'all do for our children and
Thank
staff. Yep. And I see administrators in the back nodding their heads vigorously. Okay, the items on the consent agenda is approval of financial reports, approval of a natural gas contract for 1 year, that's pretty standard. Approval of an MOU between Reinhardt College and University and Pickens County School District to provide clinical experience for Reinhardt students that pertains to the nursing program. MOA between Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. MOU for Pickens school-based mobile diagnostic unit services, Pickens Urgent Care. Approval to amend the 2023-2024 school calendar, making March 12th, which is Presidential Primary Election Day, a virtual learning day in the district. Approval of out-of-state and overnight field trips for multiple sports and extracurriculars. Minutes from 3 previous board meetings, the normal board meetings in October and our November work session. Sorry, I omitted one, the approval of MOU with the Prevent Blindness Georgia Foundation. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Mr. Williams? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Mr. Louder? Is there any discussion? All in favor? Dr. Thomas, have we received any requests for public participation at this board meeting?
No, sir, we have not.
As there's no request, there'll be no public participation. Next item is board comments. No board members, the floor is yours. I want to take a minute to pass condolences. There's a couple members of our school and staff family that are going through a loss at this time. Please remember those. I would like to thank the veterans. Every year, it comes this time of year, I want to see my father, and he's not here. That's special to me. And I want to say how thankful I am for the 5 other people who are up here as we get to Thanksgiving. Thanks.
Mr. Gartrell. I apologize when I was speaking. We do have Miss Romina Balvanetta with us. She's the owner of Pickens Urgent Care, so if there are any questions, she can answer those as well. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Williams, do I hear a second?
Second.
Ms. Gibson? Is there any discussion? All those in favor? 5-0, this meeting is adjourned at 6:48.